Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. We had one after the other session and Mr. Anas has made my life much more easier because as the name suggests, it's new age marketing that I'm going to talk about, although I belong to the old age. Some of the examples, when we started the first day of the session, we were talking that Barbie had turned 85. And yesterday somebody was telling me that Tom and Jerry have turned 76. So you can very well imagine that some of you, your fathers and grandfathers have been enjoying the company of all these, and they have been entertaining or they have been somehow getting emotionally connected from generation one to generation next. What is that tool that has kept them alive? What is the tool that keeps them going? Is something which I am going to talk to you about. What is the effect of marketing? There is a tagline, there is a motto in everything that you do. We have a very small story where a butcher who leaves his house in the morning calls his wife and asks that this is my goat, put a price on it. And she will say 20,000 rupees. And he will say, get away. And he'll go out and find the next buyer and he'll tell that one buyer I have kicked off at 20,000. So it's not 20,000, you have to quote something more. So this is the tagline with which I'll be starting. This is one of the brands that all of you are familiar with. As you would have seen that they started with a totally different demographic, moved on to the children, and now is the universal brand. We'll be also talking about another concept called cross marketing, where two of the major brands come together and they try to join hand to market their product, services or concept. The video I'm going to play is going to represent two organizations. One of them is Marvel and the second one is Philips. Spider-Man and the Marvel came together with Philips for this healthcare ad, and the kind of goodwill that it generated reflects the power of cross-branding that is possible. Today I'm going to talk about content marketing, what Mr. Anas mentioned about the social media. Ultimately, it's content marketing which is going to be synonymous with the marketing of the coming age in terms of whether it is online sales, increase in user base or diversifying the user's base. This is something which has become very important. Now, one of the figures that was being talked about was that 2.3 billion people are currently using social media out of a population of around 7.5. And one of the other figures which was there is that out of 7.5 billion population, there is 60% population living below $2 per day. That means the remaining population we are looking at is the numbers which you are going to outreach. And we'll also talk about that how do we mix the old and the new together so that you have a universal coverage. Most of you will be using ad blockers. Most of you will be browsing through the net, and 37 seconds is the time in which you have to capture the attention of the audience. Ultimately, it is the content which is driving the market, whether it is in terms of the B2B market, more in terms of the organizations which are doing it, and in terms of the money, value for every dollar spent, content marketing is the one which is providing the maximum value for each dollar spent. This is the truth. When we say that we are sponsoring some of the major events, whether it is Super Bowl or it is cricket, it is less of marketing, more of bragging rights that we get to talk about. And they have very little to do with the actual lead generation. It's time to change. Whether it was when old age, we were talking about TV, print, billboard, or other ways of direct marketing, this is the time when you have to look at innovative way of marketing, which is the social media or the content marketing.